The Tromp Family Mystery. The story of the Tromp family begins in Sylvan, a quiet farming community outside Melbourne, where the family ran a successful berry enterprise. For locals, the Tromps were known as hard-working and private, keeping mostly to their land and their routine. Nothing in their day-to-day life hinted at what would become one of Australia's strangest missing persons cases. The vanishing begins. On the morning of August 29th, 2016, the 5 members of the family abandoned their home without warning. Their phones were left behind, along with credit cards, passports, and identification. Every piece of modern life, anything traceable, stayed on the kitchen counter. Only cash, a few belongings, and their car came with them. Investigators later pieced together that the departure showed no sign of violence or immediate danger. Doors were left unlocked, machinery still running, and nothing in the surroundings suggested threat. Yet the family drove away as if convinced they had to escape something unseen. The first signs of unraveling. Their route north took them through regular highways at first, but witnesses described their behavior as increasingly erratic the further they drove. The father appeared convinced something was following them, checking mirrors again and again. The mother seemed distressed. The adult daughters tried to calm the situation, while the son appeared confused by the urgency around him. Somewhere outside Bathurst, the family's cohesion began to fracture. The son was the first to leave, abandoning the group after growing worried about their mental state. He later attempted to drive home alone and was reported missing during the process. His departure marked the first sign that whatever gripped the family was psychological rather than physical. The daughters split. The 2 daughters stayed longer with their parents, but were increasingly overwhelmed by the rising paranoia in the car. Eventually, they took the keys and drove off, leaving their parents behind in rural New South Wales. One daughter returned home with a stolen car, while the other tried to continue the trip alone. Her journey became disorienting, and she was later found in the back of a pickup truck after hitching a ride. She showed signs of extreme confusion and exhaustion. At this point, the family, once 5 unified individuals, had splintered into 3 separate missing persons cases across hundreds of kilometers. The parents alone, left without their children, the parents continued wandering through the region. They abandoned the family car at one point, leaving it unlocked and containing maps that investigators described as chaotic and bizarre. There was no clear destination marked, just circled towns, crossed out roads, and lines that repeated over each other without logic. The mother was found later in a town called Yass, physically unharmed but mentally shaken. Witnesses described her as disoriented, unable to explain why she was there or what the family had been fleeing from. The father remained missing the longest. Search teams combed through farmland, forests, and small communities, following vague sightings and confused witness statements. He was finally located wandering near Wangaratta, fatigued, dehydrated, and showing signs of acute psychological distress. Theories and investigations. Police later confirmed there was no external threat involved. No stalker, no criminal activity, nothing physically chasing the family across the state. Instead, investigators suspected a phenomenon known as shared delusional disorder, sometimes called folie à plusieurs, where paranoia spreads across closely bonded individuals until they reinforce each other's fear. But this explanation raised its own questions. Why did it begin so suddenly? Why did all 5 family members experience it simultaneously? What triggered the belief that they were being followed? How did a functional, stable family spiral into a multi-day disappearance across 2 states? The absence of clear answers only fueled speculation. Some believe financial stress or hidden family issues were involved. Others suggested a misunderstanding that spiraled out of control. And a small number of internet theorists pointed to environmental factors on their farm, chemicals, stress, or sleep deprivation that could induce shared confusion. Officially, none of these theories were confirmed. The aftermath. In the weeks that followed, the family returned to their home one by one. Each member recovered physically, though they remained shaken. The father issued a brief apology to the public, but did not elaborate on the reasons behind the journey. Investigators closed the case without attributing blame or criminal intent. The house they had fled from remained exactly as they had left it. Phones on the counter, wallets untouched, and an eerie sense of interruption hanging in the air. To this day, the Tromp family has provided minimal explanation. They chose privacy over publicity, allowing speculation to fill the silence. What remains is a strange and chilling timeline that feels more like the outline of a psychological thriller than a real event.